So angels and demons, what are they? When you come to think of a demon, you probably think of a mythical creature, probably similar looking to a devil, something that you have no control over. Hi, my name is Andrea Johnson. I'm a Reiki Master Teacher, Energy Worker, Psychic Worker, and I help people develop out their psychic and energy work abilities to expand their consciousness and enhance their lives. Welcome to another episode of what I call Conscious Coffee Talks, where we have a epic conversation to expand our consciousness. So I have my coffee and let's dive in. So this video kind of stemmed from another one that I watched, and I'll pop it up on the screen, but it was talking about demons and their existence, and it was actually a very good video. I do agree with some of the things that she was saying, but she was talking in terms that were high vibrational, meaning a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, and if you're not very familiar with that, it can be hard to wrap your mind around it. So I did the best that I could to interpret it and then kind of bring it into more of a layman's terms for people who might not be able to understand it, because I myself kind of struggled along to figure out what she was saying, but it was her perception shift. It was so high in a vibration that I was like, okay, this is what it means. So first off, do demons exist? Ultimately, yes, demons and angels exist because everything in our universe is energy. Every single thing is made up of energy. Matter is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your soul is a unique bundle of energy harnessed in a human body having an experience. Ultimately, everything in our universe is sound. Basically, that is energy, consciousness, and it vibrates at different frequencies. So basically, frequency is a thought, and the level at which it vibrates is the energy behind it, or you can say the feeling or the emotion. So you can think of the energy and frequencies as a scale. So with the highest level of frequency being love on one side and the lowest level being fear. Ultimately, the only thing that exists is love. So love really is fear, just vibrating at a different level of frequency, if you want to look at it like that. So when you get into the lower densities, meaning the physical, where we are, where energy manifests in physical form, because that is the point of this reality, then you have lower level frequencies that exist here. As a human, yes, it is an illusion. Our reality is an illusion ultimately, but because we feel that it's so real, and because we can touch it, we can sense it, it is real to us, we believe it so hardcore that it exists, because your knowings are what manifest in reality. So because you yourself exist, you believe you exist in physical form, you see yourself as separate, right? So you believe you are separate from this energy of love, because it's hard to tell yourself that you're this thing when the body is an illusion that it is separate from it. So this is the point of having duality and lower level frequencies, like considered demons, because we can experience lower level frequencies, because you need the opposing energy to understand what you are. You have to experience what you are not to know what you are, if that makes sense. So that is the point of duality, because how else would we have a unit basically of measurement to understand what we truly are if we experience what we are not, right? So that is the point of fear, and why God, or the universe, us, created it and this reality basically inside the mind of God to have an experience, because what else is there to do in the vastness of the universe? Okay, so now that you understand, we have a spectrum of energy here. So we have love on this side, where you can consider God, angels, spirit guides, whatever it so may be. And then you have demons on this side, which is fear, hate, negativity, anger, destruction. And then you probably have the human, which can be multidimensional or across this line anytime you so desire. So you can experience the angels, the love, and the highest of, energies, and then you can instantly experience the lowest. all dependent upon your thought, your beliefs. It can shift like that. And you are the one creating that thought, right? So then you are the one attracting in these energies or creating these energies. So as I was saying, yes, demons and angels exist. They are beings just like us, but just like us, they vibrate at different frequencies. And it is an illusion that we are separate from them. They are another aspect of you, just vibrating at different frequencies. So the law of one states that we are all one. We are all this universal consciousness experiencing itself subjectively, which is an illusion. Because we have bodies, pretty much, we think that we are separate. It's basically this universal energy being channeled in, this consciousness being channeled in, like focused in on one little point, which is your life, we want to call it. And it's being harnessed in this machine, this body, right? And the thought that is you, which is the ego, is a conglomeration of different thought patterns, different streams of energy, of frequencies, pretty much. So each thought that you think that you are is like a measurement of energy, a unit of energy, kind of, and it gets stored in the body by your mind, by your intention. It's what's holding this thing together, pretty much. I think, therefore I am. So if you think that you are a confident person, you can picture that as one stream of energy and then streaming into the body. And then you can think of something else as maybe you're an angry person, and then that be a different string of energy and put into the body. And you can have all these different thoughts about yourself that either you built up from the world around you, from experiences, somebody told you something, trauma, whatever you want to call it, but your intention is what is holding it together, like wrapping up all of this energy in like a bundle with a bow on it, and then it's in this body. And there you think you are this thing, and you call it by your name, right? I think I'm Andy in this experience. So Andy feels a certain vibration. So you can think of angels and demons as the same thing. Alright guys, I'm going to move my microphone a little bit closer. So you can think of them as like the same thing as what you are, as the ego. These beings are basically streams of consciousness and energies that basically we have created, and we've given them, even in the Bible, certain names because we associate them as like personalities with the types of energy, and that type of energy with a certain action in which they drive, pretty much. You can think of it as like angels or spirit guides. They're meant for certain things in your life. Demons are kind of the same way, but they invoke a lower level frequency rather than angels being higher ones, which are more preferable because we've assigned them logic, pretty much. It has lower level frequencies of what we consider evil or negative or something like that, but it is just what it is, and its actions are being driven from a frequency, is an illusion and truly not you, and creating separation. So this is where I feel like religion, and me growing up Christian, it kind of like has a downfall in this, because when we see these things as separate, because yes, this body is separate, so it's very easy to feel like you're an individual. But because we were taught that we are separate from God, meaning we look for a God outside of ourselves, and we look towards a God for forgiveness, of a God that invokes judgment. So it really like takes our power away from us, which is such a big downfall, not only just like in this scenario, but within our society as well too. We're constantly looking for external things to give us worthiness and power, approval, pretty much, when we're the only ones that can give it to ourselves. So this really invokes the victim mindset, I feel like, which ultimately is the absence of God, which they say, you know, hell is the absence of God, which you can consider darkness or fear, but that is an illusion. So is the victim mindset, because ultimately you are truly the one in control of it. So that's why I feel like people are so scared of demons, because one, we have pretty much labeled them as evil, because yes, the lower vibrations don't feel very good, and energy really honestly is just energy, everything just is. But we are fearful because we think that we have no control in this situation when we feel these things, when we feel like a demon is entering into our field, into our lives, something is not going our way. We feel like we don't have any control over it, and that's what invokes the fear, and probably, you know, Hollywood and all these stories, and even the fear of possession of a demon like taking over the body. And I've demystified that in my channeling video. It's basically the same thing as channeling, and I'll link that down below so you can check that out. But ultimately, you are the one in control. You are not the victim of it. Those things are an aspect of you to help you experience in life, to help you evolve, to let you know what you are not, so you remember who you are. They're almost like teachers, pretty much. So you can look at these things as either way. A lot of people look at them as very negative and something to be scared of, which further just feeds this energy. It further creates it. So what I really think creates these things are just masses of conscious thought. So human consciousness can create a demon, where I feel like it has been most of the time. But you know, it might have been to say that when God created darkness, it could have been at the beginning of time as well too, when it all took place, the Big Bang, if you want to call it like that, because there had to be some form of a separation, something had to start it. But human consciousness most definitely has created demons, just by their thought forms and mass societies. So you can kind of think of this as like, you know, the witch trials in Massachusetts. Whatever was the fear that was driving the executions of innocent women, you can consider that a demon, where that society basically created that fear from their consciousness, and their fear is what fed it. Now, they probably really didn't name it a certain demon, they just pinned it on devil witchcraft, but they were feeding it. They created that energy. And so their belief was what manifested it to be real, even though a lot of innocent people died. So you can think of it like that. Another way to think of it is basically narcissism. You can consider that a demon, and honestly, different levels of frequency, so different types of narcissism, dependent upon the situation of the individual. So this energy or demon will take over an individual's body, and they become a narcissist. They become this energy. Basically, fear has entered into them from a trauma. But ultimately they have chose to hang on to that energy and be this thing. So essentially, you know, narcissism feeds off of the energy of other people, which is what demons essentially do. They feed off of energy of other people because they are not love. You need life force energy somehow to exist. So you can kind of think of it as they're feeding off of fear. So fear feeds fear. Or you can think of it as, you know, a narcissist invokes a certain fear in somebody else, and it makes them feel enjoyment out of it. So it gives them a higher level of frequency in which they wouldn't normally get from just existing. So that's kind of a different way to wrap your mind around it, because ultimately it's love that they're feeling from a very poor action. It's kind of scary. So ultimately, that's what angels and demons are. They are just like us, They are beings without bodies. They are bundles of consciousness vibrating at different frequencies along the spectrum of frequency. They are just not multi-dimensional beings. They vibrate at one frequency, and us as the human, and why we have such a special experience is because we get to experience all of it. You know, we actually create all of it. Because we are made in the image of God. We are creators, so we get to experience at both ends of our creation. And we get to manifest from those energies in physical form. Good or bad, you manifest from energy in this realm of existence. That is the point of the physical 3D. Your energy, your thoughts do influence matter. We are figuring this out. Ultimately, it's really nothing to be scared of because you are in control. And people can think that they get possessed. And yes, please watch my video because I've had experiences in channeling where I can see where people feel like this happens and it can scare you. But ultimately, you are in control. You are never not in control. And if you think that you're not, it's an illusion. I don't want to say weakness of mind, but you are such in a state of disassociation or illusion that you are feeding this consciousness, this belief so hardcore. So it's not to say that it isn't real to you because you have manifested it in your reality, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I really hope this video cleared up a lot of things because these things are not evil, especially with a lot of the psychic work that I do. I get a lot of comments about how it's devil's work or things like that, and that is just not the case at all. It's very much light and love, and it all depends upon your intention. And I want to say conscious awareness and expansion, I guess you want to say, of what these things actually are. If I wanted my experience to be, you know, dark and witchy and stuff like that, it would be, but I don't have to. So to say that everyone who tampers with it is that way is wrong. It all depends upon your intention. Kind of getting off topic here, but you get what I'm saying. You create your own reality, but ultimately, yes, these things exist because you exist and they're aspects of you. You are the creator. So anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope it demystified some things, and I hope it gave you back your power, expanded your consciousness, shifted your perspective. Anyway, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'm sending you guys all of my light and all of my love. We'll see ya.